Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2-litre EX automatic. This is a 2013 car with just 61,000 miles on the clock, so a lovely low mileage one in black with black leather. It's got the side steps and rear tailgate garnish, which looks lovely on the car. It's on a private plate, and this plate comes with the sale of the vehicle, so it's a rather nice plate to see on the car. Going around the car for you, front of the car is nice and clean. Lights and lenses are clear, intact, without any cracks or condensation there. I'm in the shade, by the way. It's because if you do it in the sunlight, you don't see the marks. Also, a professional photographer once told me, so that's why we do it. Bonnet of the car, hardly a stone chip anywhere on it at all. Near side, lovely and smooth in the panel work. No obvious indentations that I can see. Near side front alloy, generally good, just a little bit of light curbing at the top there, which could be at the bottom, depending on where you park the car, quite clearly. This side rear alloy, again, generally good, with only the lightest blemishes. Going around the back of the car, you see the tailgate bumper garnish there. Around to the offside, driver's side, again, very, very smooth in the panels. Side rear alloy, pretty much unmarked, and remaining panel work's absolutely lovely on the car. It really is in very, very nice condition, and it looks lovely too. It's coming into the boot area now, absolutely cavernous boots, and it's been kept in really, really lovely condition. It's coming to the back of the car now, again, full black leather interior, in really, really lovely condition. Going to the front, again, all very clean and tidy. Finally, driver's door card, and pretty much unmarked there. Footwell area is lovely and clean. The driver's seat, for a car that's now nearly 10 years old, it's in superb condition. So inside the car now, engine's running through this section as always, so dashboard will be seen illuminated, and again in absolutely superb condition in here. Sat nav, you can see, working exactly as it should. Pop the car into reverse there, got that lovely clear gridded parking camera, which obviously complements the parking sensors as well, front and rear. That's been kept very, very nicely. And come across to the main dashboard binnacle. Hopefully you can see in there, 61,618 miles, and there are no warning lights on whilst the engine's running. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2-litre EX automatic. This car is registered L11HDP, that's a private plate. This is actually a 2013 62 plate car. Mileage on the car currently 61,610 miles. The reason for doing all of our videos is very simple indeed. It's to ensure that if anyone's looking at any of our cars online, they actually get to see the cars, or the very car advertised, actually in operation. And the reason we feel it's important is because, like lots of people out there, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs and description, only to get there and find out when you drive it, it's got an obvious fault that shows up whilst driving the car, so hence that's why we do it. Also done on these lovely quiet country roads very close to our premises. So that's one of these speed alarms on the car, which I will stop and reset in a second, so I do apologise. Yeah, it's just we do it on these very quiet roads. It's actually very close to our premises. This forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, so hopefully it'll be representative of what you feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So I'm going to, in a second, find an opportune time to stop so that alarm doesn't keep pinging on. So it takes a couple of seconds to do that. But going through the car, starting with the engine, starts immediately, settles to a smooth, even idle. No warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. And temperature gauge is running as a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle, and it's been running for quite some time now. The engine is an absolute peach. It's sweet revving, it's docile in nature, it's tractable, It's keen to pick up and rev, like all Hondas with decent servicing. They last for enormous mileages. Cam chain driven, no cam belts to worry about. There's so many pluses to the engine. It really is a fabulous thing, and it's very well suited to the car. Engine then goes through into the automatic gearbox, which, like the engine, has a reputation for being incredibly tough and reliable. Gear changes on the move are very smooth indeed. It's kicked down keenly and smoothly. There's obviously the ratios they've chosen for the car are basically picked to maximise the engine in terms of both performance and economy, so it's sort of striking the sort of compromise between the two. But as I was saying, with every automatic, regardless of what the reputation of the gearbox might be in terms of reliability, always do the standard checks, make sure the gear changes on the move are indeed smooth, and that there's no thunks or clunks when it engages drive or reverse from stationary. In every respect, the gear change on this particular example is absolutely lovely. I'm just going to come to a stop and turn this light off a second, so bear with me 1 second while I do that. Just put myself in park, handbrake on. It'll only take me a couple of seconds. And that's done. So, no more pinging noises right then, apart from the parking sensor going off, of course, as soon as I pull away. Steering on the car, always been a strong point of Honda, the drive of the vehicle. It's very, very car-like in the way the car drives. The steering has got a kind of a nice weight to it. It's not over light, which is the pet hate of mine. You point, the car goes exactly where you want it to go. It's very accurate and precise in that sense, but it makes the car feel very connected to the road. It's very, very well set up, I have to say. It also tracks absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. It's all very good. Chassis of the vehicle, what I'm looking out for in particular on road test, there's a really horrible bump about to go over, which I normally try and avoid, but it's good for checking suspension. That one there, just listen for any sort of rattles or clonks coming from underneath the car that shouldn't actually be there. There's nothing at all. But going through corners like the one here, car corners generally quite flat unless you really push on. Well, what I like is the body control is really good. There's far less kind of lurching or that kind of secondary motion you get with lots of these cars, because comfort is very much a subjective thing. We always say it. To some people, they just want a really pillowy, soft ride rather. Unfortunately, with cars like this, which are taller, it means that passengers, particularly those in the back, it can be really nauseating. So this manages to combine a comfortable ride with good body control, which I think is more important in the long term when it comes to kind of comfort or otherwise. I'm going to give the brakes a bit of a shove and get up to speed in a second. Hold on to my things, make sure they don't go flying out. Bear with me 1 second. That's really good brake pedal on the car. What I'm looking for in particular is any kind of pulsing or vibrations going back through the pedal, and there's absolutely nothing at all. So it's all absolutely spot on there. Worth pointing out, all these things are going to be checked anyway, because it's not only we serviced it, but it's going to be going for an independent MOT prior to the sale of the vehicle. So obviously these things will be checked. So coming inside the car, literally it's just arrived to us. It's in lovely condition in here, but they're just really nice places to sit. My wife owns one, I own one, so we know these cars are very, very well indeed. But what I like about them, I've always liked about them, when you get into them, you've got really good visibility in the car. So you've got quite a low windscreen line there, so you can actually see the bonnet, which is a miracle on modern cars. You've got these massive wing mirrors, which really do help with visibility, especially on dual carriageways and motorways. but it's just not an intimidating car in any way to drive. It's very, very well done. And the layout of the dashboard is very friendly in terms of the driver. A couple of days in the car and you pretty much mastered it. Very, very simple to operate. You've got a big screen sat-nav working exactly as it should. Dual zone climate control system, so you can have different temperatures side to side in the vehicle, and within reason at least anyway. And that pumps out absolutely ice cold air, so all working exactly as it should. What videos never really get across, of course, is the build quality of these things, because they are beautifully made cars. There's no squeaks or rattles in the interior of the car at all. All the switchgear has that really lovely quality of actuation that Honda gives you, sort of slightly rubbery, precise feel to it, which is there for the long term. Dash pinnacle in front is just simple, easy, legible dials, which take the information in very, very quickly. And then you've got this lovely small diameter steering wheel, which is leather bound, and you can see absolutely no wear on it at all. Nothing's been sort of rubbed off. All the leather works really nice on it. This is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V, albeit there's no buttons to press because the car does it for you. Honda worked out very quickly that most of its customers would be driving as I am today in conditions where you just don't need four-wheel drive on. So what it does is, if you were to lose grip on the front wheels, because that's how it's driven, it will instantly bring in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive far more quickly than you could ever react, because it's done via the traction control system of the car, and it's seamless. It just gives you a kind of shove in the back, and there, off you go. And I tow a caravan with ours, and we go across some pretty muddy pitches from time to time, and as I say, we never come close to getting stuck with it. So it is very effective. The advantage of it not being on the whole time, quite clearly, as opposed to permanent four-wheel drive systems, is the fact that you use less fuel, you get through your tyres far less quickly, and you're putting less mechanical stress to the car, because we've been selling Hondas for donkey's years now and hardly ever had an issue with the four-wheel drive system. It is incredibly robust. As I said at the start of the video, the point of the video is only a brief one. It's just to show the car operating, but to feedback on any obvious issues, of which there are none at all.